Oh, hey. Surprise! It's a special Election Day episode. I know I could use some of the extra joy to get me through some serious anxiety. So, what's better than Ask a Badass? It's the sporadic segment of Heaving Bosoms where we here at HBHQ spotlight you. So, if you had the opportunity and voted early like I did, we're proud of you. If you're voting in person like Aaron, we're proud of you. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you cast your ballot. So now, let's hear from Jessica A. Jessica is hot HB library goals. She has taken the Heaving Bosoms podcast to City Hall on speakerphone. She has great pasta ideas, knows what to do with lavender, and she definitely knows all the names for her lady parts. Here we go. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Natalie.
Listeners, HBs, we are talking to Jessica A., longtime HB. Pretty long time HB, right? You've been hanging in there for a while.
I've been there, yeah. I lurked for a while and then became a little bit more active.
So, Jessica, you are a romance reader, a longtime romance reader.
I am.
Are you only reading romance?
Primarily, yes. Mm-hmm. I guess I look for in anything I read. If I read fantasy or sci-fi, it's generally got a romantic interest in it. Mm-hmm. It just may not be solely romance.
So I just read before, so that I could listen to the episodes, I read Strangelove. Did you read it?
I have not. It's on my queue of things.
Yeah.
So I've got all my workbooks. I won't give any spoilers.
First. Which I mean, if you listen to the, you have to read workbooks. How rude!
I know. I work in a library, so and I'm a personal librarian, so I have to do recommendations.
Wait, what is a personal librarian?
So it's actually we put the personal in librarian, but if you go to our webpage, it looks like a dating site with librarians, and it shows our specialty and interests of what we like. So then you can click on us and we do tailored recommendations for you.
Oh my goodness.
For all of our stuff, books, movies, music.
Wow. So if I lived in wherever you are, mm-hmm. I would just have an account and you would just continue to update. I would continue to update my interests and you would find me recommendations for that. Is that how it works?
So the best thing is you actually don't have to live in my city. So it's online. So you just give us your email, you fill out the form, and then it will go to whoever you chose. Or if you chose to have a random one, it's assigned to us. And then we will send you a newsletter with recommendations, generally linked to our library website and catalog. But I do it for my mom, and she does not live anywhere near me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's super fun.
Yeah, but you work in a metropolitan library.
I do, yes.
And this is a service that your city provides. Mm-hmm. What a crazy thing. My library is not even calling me back about replacing my library cards. So that's the responsiveness of my librry. So this is amazing. I also, Jessica and I were talking, I live in a very, very rural area. And so we would not have a service like that. But that is, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, actually, I think that we saw it for the Chicago Public Library had done something similar to this, and an employee saw it. They put in for a grant, and we got it. And so then we started this whole program, and so we've got some merch. We do book giveaways. We could gather in places. I would do outreach, and we made this little booth that looks like the Peanuts, a penny or whatever cents for therapy.
Oh,
so it looks like that, but it says...
Is it Lucy that does that? Oh, yeah.
So we made a booth that looks like that, but it says free recommendations on it. And so we sit in that booth and we just talk to people about books, movies, and music.
This is blowing my mind. This is so cool. It's one of those jobs that you didn't know existed in the world. You know what I mean?
I never would have thought of it.
No.
Or 100%. That I would be one.
Yeah. Is that, and was that something you always wanted to do?
No, actually, I started working as just in a library in general. And then this was a program they started. They talked to me about joining them. And I was like, yes, one of us.
I feel like the more you scratch the surface of libraries, the more you find that they provide and how necessary they are for people in different areas. And depending on the area you're in, each library provides so many different services. It's just crazy. And you just don't know until you ask people.
Definitely.
Bonkers. Great. Do you, you are not, and everybody is not only their job, though. You are a human being outside of your job, but you are reading a lot for your personal life as well as your work job.
Oh, so definitely. I have to have some of that mixed in just to make me happy.
What are you reading for joy right now?
I actually started rereading the Goddess Summoning series from PC Cast.
If you were going to explain that to somebody that maybe hasn't heard of it before, what would it be?
So if you like mythology and romance,
I know a lot of people, especially HBs, that love that.
I've seen a few people suggest these books, but yeah, my favorite one is, of course, the one with Persephone and Hades.
Everybody, right?
Definitely. It's the only kind of story with the Greek gods that aren't rapey. So
yeah, that's really true, though, right? No one needs Zeus anywhere in their life. Really.
No, definitely not.
So then how did you find Heaving Bosoms after being a romance? Because you've been reading since 11?
Yeah, 11 and 12. When I went to live with my grandma for a while, she read those pretty voraciously. That's actually how she learned English. Was reading a lot of these novels and joining a, old lady book club of some sort.
Yeah.
But I came across this podcast doing research, again, for work. As a personal librarian, we were starting a podcast of our own.
Oh.
And we were trying to find things to partner with and podcasts to partner with to see if they wanted to do maybe a live podcast or be featured on ours. And I started reading to a couple episodes and just fell in love with the dynamics of Melody and Aaron.
Yeah. I know. And that's really the best thing, right, about the two of them is the chemistry and the jokes and the banter, and never get rid of the banter, Aaron. I don't.
No, I love it so much.
It's the number of times, and I'm sure that you've done this as well, where you're laughing as if you're part of the joke that's happening on the air between.
Definitely. I listen to it at work. Yeah, I listen to it at work, and I actually get paid to listen to it because I've qualified it as my advanced learning for book recommendations. And so, yay.
What a loophole.
So it's a book podcast. So yay, I get paid for that.
Amazing. Do you have, this is kind of, we haven't talked about a funny listening to the podcast story in a while. Do you have one?
Yes. I'm super embarrassed about, people find it funny when I tell them. I still am mortified and don't want to ever go back there and see these people again. But I was doing a lot of meetings at City Hall for programming and stuff like that. And I had a couple meetings at one day, and one ended early. And so I decided that I was going to prepare for the next one. But of course, listen to Heaving Bosoms because why not? I was obsessed at the time and trying to catch up to a lot of past episodes. And I believe it was one of the Chuck Tingle episodes. And it, if you remember how wild and interesting and stuff was happening.
I remember, I feel like there was a moment where it might have been Aaron that whispered were there lots of descriptions of cum at some point, and I loved it. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
And I listened to it. I'm smiling and cackling away as I thought I was alone in a conference room. I did not realize that there was a partition to the room in a second part where there was about 3 or 4 city council members that were in their meeting. I also did not realize that my headphones did not connect. No. And so it was out loud.
Jessica.
When that partition opened up, they just kind of and just looked at me and walked away.
Meanwhile, there's just a freight train of dinosaurs going after some poor law clerk or whatever it is.
I was mortified, and I was like, I don't even want to go to this next meeting. I just want to crawl into a hole.
Because it's not even like what somebody would like market as trashy romance. It's just weird ass erotica that
it's just so random.
Yeah. It's not even, I don't know, man. So my heart and thoughts are with you. Send your thoughts and prayers to Jessica, everybody,
please,
for the next time she has to go to City Hall.
Which I'm there a lot. I'm not as much recently because, COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
But
RIP socialization. So then where kind of like, are you fully immersed in romance? Is it kind of a through line for kind of the media you consume? How does it kind of fit into your life?
I'm a very weird person when it comes to romance. I love it to watch it, to read it, and just immerse myself that way. But when it comes to being in my personal life, I get really eked out and awkward. And I'm just like, ooh, what? Yeah. Why is this romantic overture happening? Like, is something wrong? Are you okay?
Yeah.
It makes me feel so awkward. Yeah. I'm just like, no, this is weird. But I love cheesy romance so much, like especially K-dramas. I love how cheesy they are and just so pure.
So I'm notoriously not a TV person or a movie person, but I have never watched a K-drama. If you were going to tell somebody like a gateway drug, do you have a gateway drug to K-dramas that you would?
I would have to say You're Beautiful, because that was my gateway K-drama addiction. I saw that by happenstance. It is. It's a show. It's pretty old. But it's got probably one of my favorite tropes ever, and it's girls disguised as boys.
Oh!
And so you get that queer feeling, and then guys like confused and like, am I gay? And you're just like, yes.
You might be, though.
So you might be. What is it? You're just interested in a person. Who cares what their gender is?
Exactly. Absolutely. So You're Beautiful, and is it a Netflix? Is it a Prime?
So I haven't found it. It used to be on Netflix, and I took it off because they alternate. I think when I was wanting a feel good thing, I ended up just downloading it.
Oh, okay.
It's not on Viki, but Viki does have some good stuff though.
What is Viki?
Viki is another like streaming service.
Oh, I'm just whole things are opening up in my mind today. I don't.
Viki does a lot more of non-English, so foreign language things. A lot of it typically is Asian.
Okay, interesting. I have notes that I just wrote down. Awesome. And then besides K-dramas, what else are you passionate about right now?
Art. I am a very artistic soul, and with that comes I think we talked about my fish brain previously, and I like to have my hand in all sorts of pots of doing things. I am in the process of like making a dress. I am also making a ton of masks because I got really into mask making. And
I'm guessing we're talking about like COVID masks.
Yeah, COVID
We're not
masks.
talking about like luchador masks or something like that.
I would love to do that too. That'd be really cool.
Could you do a line of luchador COVID masks though? Because that would be real cute.
I would love to do Lucha Couture.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool.
We'll just pin that market.
Yeah. Sorry, that's copywritten, okay? Everybody listening, you can't take it. Yeah. Lucha Couture TM. So are you kind of like a magpie with crafty art stuff? And I don't know. I mean, art and craft kind of have this crossover, but craft can sometimes be different. So I don't know. I don't want to mislabel, but
I feel like it's kind of a mix of both. I feel like I am very crafty because I just like to do all that stuff, and art in my mind goes hand in hand with crafts because art is anything you kind of put your soul into, and yours like that is a craft.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that's creative, I guess, in nature is just things that I enjoy doing.
What are your feelings about finishing projects? Because I know I have some feelings about that.
I'm
not meaning to call you out here. I'm calling myself out, but sorry if I call you out also.
No, it's all good. We're all human. It's okay. I think about like 85 to 90% of the time I finish a project. It really depends on what it is.
I'm rocking
and how passionate I get into it.
I think I'm rocking about a 30% completion rate on projects.
Yeah, if it's writing, like I can say I have been writing a quote unquote book since high school. Since I had a fever dream on NyQuil, and I was like, this will make an amazing book.
Yeah.
And I just turned 30 yesterday, so it's been a while.
Yes, Jessica and I had to reschedule. We were going to record on your birthday, but you took a little mini birthday vacation.
I did.
Way to treat yourself. I love making a big deal out of my birthday. Do you make a big deal out of your birthday?
I actually don't. So I had this whole thing to where it's just my birthday is in August, and that's right when school started. I didn't have a lot of friends by that point because I just started a school. I'd probably been there like maybe a week. Yeah. And then I turned whatever age I turned. So I really didn't know a lot of people to invite to a party. And then my brother is 10 days after me. I mean, he's 2 years and 10 days.
Right.
So like we always had joint birthdays. So I really never had anything just for myself. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just never really got that special thing for a birthday. I was like, it's another day. I'm older.
My husband's birthday is on New Year's Eve, so he also has like that, well, everyone's going out for New Year's, but not for my birthday. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's always, I totally get it, but and some people are like celebrate me birthday people. You know what I mean?
Oh, one of my best friends, she is definitely like, this is my birth month. It is a month long of celebrations and everything is about me.
You have been
like, go, girl.
Notified. You have plenty of time to plan it. You have. We can celebrate any and all times within this month daily if you need to, you know, whatever you need to do. I definitely, I like to make a big deal out of everyone's birthday, but I at least want mine to at least be acknowledged by several hundred people, you know.
Yeah. I have like two of my best friends that are trying to fatten me up. And actually, my coworkers got me like 3 nothing bundt cake thingies. And they were in my cubicle on Saturday at work. So I ate 2 of those. There's still 1 more I need to eat. Monday, my best friend made me like a high tea. And so I went over to her house and then she got a dozen of the cupcakes.
What?
I know.
This is like a cake explosion.
It really is.
What flavor bundt cakes? I have a lot.
So it was praline pecan because Texas. There was their seasonal blueberry, and then lemon, which lemon is my absolute favorite.
Lemon. So nothing but cakes is also bundt cakes is also up in Illinois, and so I have had their lemon. It is fantastic.
It is so amazing, and I don't like lemon things, and I will devour this.
I made a lemon bundt cake for my family. My sister and my stepmom have birthdays 1 day apart. And so they also never get to have individual parties really. So, I made a lemon bundt cake for them too. And it is just everything that is bright and refreshing and still cake, you know. Talk to me about lavender. I have never done the things that you're talking about doing. So I had asked Jessica what her lady loves are, and she mentioned a lot of things with lavender that I'm not familiar with.
Yes, I love lavender. As I am sitting here, I've got a little lavender pouch that I use when I'm stressed out. I just kind of like put it up to my face, and I'm like, it smells good.
Yeah.
I've got a jar of lavender, but I love sprinkling it in my bath.
Okay.
I don't take baths very often because I do get really bad migraines, but when I do, I love putting some lavender in there. My favorite thing in the morning is to sprinkle a little bit in my coffee as it's being brewed, and you get a little like lavender coffee.
Like a floral. Okay. So question for you. Are those different lavenders? Do you have different kinds of lavender, or is it all like a multi-purpose lavender?
So it's all culinary grade lavender. I grow some Spanish and English lavender, but they are not culinary. So I would, especially Spanish, don't eat that, please.
Is it poisonous?
It's not edible.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, like, it'll make you not feel good. Or
yeah,
whatever.
probably. I've not tried it because I was just like, oh, it's not culinary. Okay, let's not ingest this.
I don't need to investigate.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you just buy like big bags or whatever of food grade lavender and then use it. However, I made lavender sachets as my as like instead of throwing rice or whatever as like at my wedding, I made little bags full of lavender and people threw that into the air.
That I would love that. If I ever get married, I might use that
on your vision board or something. Yeah, and I think I just bought like a big bag on Etsy. I bet you could still do that. Just buy a big food grade bag. I'm gonna add that to my list of notes. Food grade. So when you bake with it, because my friend Ann Clippy, Ann in the cult, Ann C, mm-hmm. she also bakes with lavender, and I just have never really thought about it. I want to make lavender syrup because I like a London Fog mm-hmm. latte, those ones, because that has lavender syrup, isn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah. Reductions I haven't really tried doing. I feel like I could if I put my mind to it. Mm-hmm. But baking with lavender, actually my first time doing it was for my friend that's really into her birth month. Mm-hmm. Her birthday is in, oh gosh, I'm going to be a bad friend, is in April.
You could have told me anything.
Yeah.
April sounds great.
She might listen to this. I don't know. Sorry. But we were all sent home and then furloughed and all sorts of stuff was happening with COVID. And so she didn't get to celebrate her birthday and we couldn't gather because it became kind of like illegal for us to gather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so just to do something special for her, and I know she likes lavender too, so I baked her a lavender sponge cake with like a lemon buttercream frosting.
That sounds great.
It was really good. So much so I had to bake a separate batch, and then I made cake pops with it.
Oh, yum. That would be really good.
I feasted on that for a while.
People put it in pie crust.
Yeah.
Because I've made like a thyme, I put some thyme in a pie crust, an apple pie crust one time, but you could do like a berry pie with a lavender pie crust, and I bet that would
definitely
be really yummy.
I think it'd be really good with like a lemon meringue type of thing too.
I'll have to put some thought into this.
Yeah, I will say it is it's like a dangerous or fine line to putting too much in, and then you can get like a soapy taste to it.
Same with like rose, I feel like. Well, at least that my only knowledge about that is coming from Great British Bake Off. So but according to them, yes, it's a fine line.
Yes.
To not
floral
smell.
Things are it's a fine line.
I think they say like antiseptic or whatever. Mm-hmm. Cool. Are you ready for a lightning round?
Oh, let's do this.
Okay. Great. As you know, there's no rules. There's no time limits because it's not actually a lightning round. So this is a new question, I believe. Who is your ideal Stern Brunch daddy? Unless you like ladies but Stern Brunch mommy doesn't sound good, really. So, we'll stick with daddy for these purposes.
Yeah, he was in Magic Mike, and he was also the werewolf in True Blood.
Joe
Manganiello or something?
Yep, we know it.
That guy.
Manganiello.
Yeah. With the face and the body. He's could be the sternest of Brunch daddies. Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
I did not know that, and I love him even more.
He has his own D&D company. Yeah, like he's like a stealth nerd. You wouldn't ever think.
I wouldn't picture that at all.
That werewolf Magic Mike is also into D&D. And he has like a whole weird game room dungeon that is in his house. And Sofia Vergara is like, I roll, but is still into it. I don't know why I know so much about this.
You do, and I'm like, I play D&D and I never knew this.
I don't know why I do know about this, but I do. Who knows why? I don't ever know about anything. That's just really funny. Okay. Are you more of an Aaron or a Melody?
So when I first started listening to the podcast, I was like, oh yes, I'm all Melody. But the more I've listened to it, I'm totally an Aaron. I mean, I would love to be the aesthetic and the vibe of Melody, but that's just a dream.
Amazing. And do you have a bing boom bong that you specialize in if you were gonna bing boom bong something?
Oh,
mine is evidently bing boom bong Joe Manganiello facts.
Right?
Can't say his name, but I can tell you about his D&D company.
I am such a weird person where like a lot of people are like, oh my god, you know everything, you're so intelligent, you're this, and I'm like, no, I just know a lot of like BS about a lot of things.
Sure, yeah, a small amount of information about many things.
So it's like I come off like I know a lot of stuff, but it's like, no, I just know little things. So
yeah, you're a Renaissance lady.
Yeah. Recently, my Bing Boom Bong has been about just normalizing romance in like the genre in general. So when people started like talking bad about it, I'm just like, well, actually,
well, and I could
pull up my glasses and the kind of things they're talking about.
And I could see like, especially in your kind of line of work, where some people may kind of be like, well, I'm not going to recommend that, or you know what I mean, like, not necessarily think of it as a valid recommendation. Romance is a valid recommendation because they believe it's not valid. But
totally. I even had like a long blog post about why we should read romance.
Yeah.
And I had to take out some content that was just like statistically it was a little too much for like a public library blog. Not a thesis.
90% of ladies who read romance, people who read romance, know more about the anatomy than people who don't.
Which is amazing and also mind-boggling, just that Americans don't know this stuff. And like, I will admit, and this is very, very sad for our public education system, but I did not know where my vagina was until college.
Yeah, like what parts that make up your actual like lady bits. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm still kind of like, but is it this part? You know what I mean? Because they don't talk about that. I saw a thing the other day that was like, I was taught about like nocturnal emissions. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called when dudes ejaculate in their sleep?
Yeah. At
like
least
that,
I'm gonna
wet
say
dream, and it was like 3 different penis-centered things, and it was never talked about. Like this was in reference to wet ass pussy. It was in reference to that, and about like why it's normal for your vagina to be, or your vulva. Melody, don't listen to when I'm talking about parts. Anyway, so it's just like funny that, not funny, it's terrible, but. Anyway,
it's like in hindsight type of thing where I'm just like, I look back at it and I'm like, man, I was an idiot. I was so innocent and so dumb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think when you're taught from a young age that it's not something you are supposed to think about or talk about, you don't think about it and you don't talk about it, you know?
Which is weird because, like, my mom is from Germany and has no problem talking about, like, the naked body and, like, sex in general. Yeah. It was never brought up to me. I also didn't find out where a tampon went until college. I thought it went in, like, your urethra.
Yeah. I was literally given a box of tampons with 0 instructions. I was like, here you go.
Yeah. And so, reading it even, I was like,
do you want to know how long I wore the plastic like sleeve part or paper sleeve part around the tampon?
No.
Yes. Ouch. I was like, these things are terribly uncomfortable. Why
They're
are
not
people
absorbing
wearing
anything?
Them? Exactly. Oh my gosh. Education is important, okay?
It really is.
Meanwhile, sorry, we're on a podcast about romance.
That's
books,
true.
But yeah, I think that romance is actually really helpful in certain, some books more than others, but about educating you about what your body can do or should do, or you know what I mean, or what is okay or what is not okay. So
let alone just the fact that you can want to orgasm. You don't have to just like kind of lay there and think of the queen type of thing. So it is empowering you. It's empowering females that like that you deserve this too. It's not just for male
and
pleasure.
You don't have to fake it to make them feel better.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to be like, no, that sucks. Don't do that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Not all of us can do that.
It takes a little bit of confidence, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I think we've already covered this. You are not a bath meal person. You are a potentially sprinkled lavender bath person. I had a mug of tea in the bath the other day, which was groundbreaking for me as a non-bather. I'm a born again bather. And when I tried to type that out, it sounded like I was saying born again bather, like I used to not believe in bathing, but now I believe in it.
Just did
and I was like, that's not what I mean.
Did like a Benjamin Franklin and just basked in the air.
Yeah, I take mud baths only. Do you have a favorite trope in romance?
I think I like the friends or like enemies to lovers trope the most. I like that conflict. I did talk about I like the queerness of kind of the confusion of girls dressed as boys or disguised as boys. I will read anything like that, and that all started with the Alana series. If anyone remembers those.
I don't, but that doesn't mean anything because I don't remember a lot of things. But did you like the Amanda Bynes movie, She's the Man?
I did, because I love Twelfth Night.
What is Twelfth Night?
Shakespeare.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I don't read anything, really. And I don't know anything about anything. It's coming, except Joe Manganiello.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I know about.
That is good. They can pad your resume all with that.
And
just
now
be like, I know all about him.
about how tampons work. So,
well, that's good. We're getting there. I mean, I do too now. So yay.
Yeah. Do you have any advice that you would give your younger self?
Don't skip the sexy bits because you might have learned something.
Did you skip over sexy parts of books?
I did when I first started reading them because I was like, oh, God's watching.
Oh no. Darn it, God. Why are you watching always? I'm trying to read here.
Yeah, I would skip over it. I think there was like one book that I had gotten in high school and a friend borrowed and her mom saw it and like got mad at me. Like didn't call my mom. Mm-hmm. But, like, she was no longer allowed to borrow books from me. And I was like,
it's my grandma's fault, okay?
I mean, really it was. I was bored in a house that didn't have anything going on.
Exactly. This is all I have over here, okay?
This is really all it was. It was reading or cleaning, and I did not want to clean.
Yeah. My children, we have been together a lot, and they keep complaining, sometimes, some days are better than others, and one day... and this is straight out of a Mariana Zapata book, which we all know how I feel about her, but they were all complaining about how they were bored, and I was like, start cleaning, homie. Guess you're cleaning now. If you're too bored to figure out what else you can do, you're cleaning with me. So and then weirdly, they came up with something else to do.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't have to be involved. It was great.
I grew up with that all the time. It's like, oh, you're bored? Well, you can clean this. You're hungry? Well, go make food. Like,
yeah,
oh.
Guess you know how to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh God, I'm everybody's mom now. That's how it sounds. I'm like everyone's mom from a book. That's who I am these days.
It happens.
Do you have a favorite carb? This is the toughest
pasta,
question.
Actually. Yeah. I could eat pasta so much.
Do you have a preferred type of pasta?
I like bow tie pasta, honestly.
You know what? It holds the sauce so well.
It does, and it can get perfectly al dente.
Yeah, I agree. I actually just bought some the other day. Half for crafts, half for eating. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
If you could dispense one condiment from your belly button, what would it be?
Restaurant grade ranch dressing.
Wow, do I not know enough about ranch dressing? What makes it restaurant grade?
So there's usually a little bit more dill. I just don't like Hidden Valley, and restaurants usually have
these
really
I feel like
nice
that's
ranch.
a very bold thing to say out loud. You are not a Hidden Valley ranch person. I don't know what the ranchers are like, not actual ranchers, but rancher people, people who like ranch. I don't know if this, or do you need witness protection now?
I mean, I eat Hidden Valley, but if it's my choice of if I can get a gallon of restaurant grade ranch, I would pick that over that.
Do they have growlers for that like they do at breweries? You bring your own growler bottle and you just fill it up from a dispenser?
That would be so amazing.
Someone out there who's in the restaurant business. This is the new thing.
Some of our ranch lovers need to come together and just make this happen.
Yeah. Turn in one growler, get a new growler, pay a deposit. You can pick up ranch dressing on a weekly, daily, monthly basis, depending on your needs. It's perfect.
I mean, I think so. It disgusts my boyfriend, but I do eat it with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so restaurant only ranch you would dispense from your belly button, and it has more dill or less dill?
It usually has more dill, so okay. It's hard to describe. Sometimes it's a little too watery, but it's a different texture, and it's not so viscous.
Okay.
Clumpy.
Wow, this is really grossing me out. Especially in the context of coming out of your belly button.
That's true.
There's no good answer. You're right.
No.
There's no way to not be gross, so it's totally good.
I mean, something liquid form is coming out of my belly button, which I don't think that's supposed to happen.
No, it's probably a sign of infection, especially if it's ranch dressing style.
If it's ranch.
Yeah. Okay, and now that we have grossed everyone out, Jessica, thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for celebrating your birthday week / month with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I was super nervous, but you chilled me out really quick. Thank you.
Well, good. That's my superpower.
It's really amazing.
But I'm so glad you did it, and I'm glad that we were able to finally connect after literally months.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, everybody, keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love heaving bosoms.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.